Hello everyone, I will be reviewing 6 new Middle Eastern perfumes that I've been testing out lately. So many new Middle Eastern perfume releases and I am just trying to cope up. So 4 of the perfumes that I'll be talking about today are in decants as I'm not sure if I needed a bottle reading the note breakdown, and 2 of them are gifted to me by fragra.de. These are new releases from Maison Alhambra under the Jean Lowe collection. And if you follow me in TikTok, I've already told you my first impression about these two scents. However, now that I have tested it for quite some time, I'm going to give you the final tea, starting off with Jean Lowe Fantasme. As you see the bottle, I guess we all know which fragrance it is duping because it is very intentional. The lid is great because it's magnetic. And actually, I'm quite liking the simplicity of the bottle. Now, let's talk about the scent. First time I sprayed this fragrance, to be honest with you guys, I didn't really care too much about it because it reminded me straight away of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. And the funny thing about it is that if you check Fragrantica, the note breakdown is such a mess. Let me read you what is listed. So in Fragrantica, Fantasme has cocoa, oud, patchouli, caramel, rose, saffron, frankincense, blackcurrant, and leather. Guys, the notes have nothing to do with Fantasme because this is a freshie. And if you read the notes in Fragrantica, you might stay away from it, especially if you are not into potent, woody, and sweet scents. Fantastic, guys, I will say is something very likable. Now, I'll be honest with you, I was never a big fan of the Imagination DNA. I mean, for me, it's okay, but I was not that crazy about it like other people. So since I find it quite unisex, I gave it straight to my husband. Now, my husband used this fragrance 2 or 3 days in a row, and I was obsessed. This perfume smells incredible in the air and it leaves a scent trail. So he wore this perfume when we went to a child concert of Hunter's K-pop with our kids. And while walking towards the event, I was wondering who smelled so good because I keep catching whiffs of this beautiful citrusy, soapy, fresh scent. So I was searching left, right, and then I realized that it was my husband. I was shocked because I didn't expect this perfume to be like leaving a scent trail, and it's quite beastly, which I appreciate for a freshie. Now, I think this costs around 20 euros, and this is something that I will highly recommend if you are looking for a fresh, soapy tea scent to wear this summertime. If you're the type who just wears something fresh, or if you live in a country that has a tropical climate, you cannot go wrong with Fantasme. Now, is this similar to Imagination? Yes, I don't own Imagination. However, I'm very familiar with it as I have smelled it several times when I'm in duty-free airports. And all I can say is that yes, they are very similar. And I wouldn't really think that Fantasme smells like a cheap clone of it. Honestly, this smells really good for what it is. Now, I just want to say as well that this is something that I wouldn't wear myself because I find it to be more masculine leaning. However, though, it's unisex. And if you're a big fan of soapy, citrusy tea scents, then you will definitely like Fantasme. In my opinion, it smells more expensive than what it is, and I'm gonna rate this fragrance a 9 out of 10. All right, next up is the other perfume from Jean Lowe, and this is Summer Vibes, also from Maison Alhambra. So the bottle looks like a dupe of Louis Vuitton as well, and I'm gonna pop a photo of it on the screen. Now, I haven't tried the perfume from Louis Vuitton that it is duping, so I'm not gonna compare them side by side. However, all I can say is that Summer Vibes is more of my vibes between the two, because this is a neroli centered fragrance. So how does it smells like? It smells green with a soft white floral nuance in the background. Now, I find this fragrance to be more feminine leaning, even though it is also unisex. Like, I can imagine a man wearing Summer Vibes, but yeah, between the two, I will wear Summer Vibes more because, first of all, I love neroli and I just find it to be more feminine leaning. To me, this is also soapy, but imagine an orange scented bar of soap. Then yeah, that's how Summer Vibes smells like. It's a very straightforward scent. It has that neroli, petitgrain, and orange blossom combo that I love personally, and to me this is a very big like as well. Now, I've been using this perfume when I go to our gym, and I just love how it makes me feel. Like, it makes me feel clean and quite energized for the day. Actually, I notice when a perfume is heavy in mandarin orange and neroli, I kind of get that vibe. And yeah, I am liking Summer Vibes a lot. Now, even though I like and prefer Summer Vibes more, I think people will enjoy more Fantasme. So I'm gonna give Summer Vibes an 8 out of 10. You will love this perfume if you're into clean smelling green scents with like soft white florals in the background. Now, I really like Summer Vibes. I can imagine myself using and abusing this perfume this upcoming summertime, when it's extremely hot and humid outside, because this is a kind of scent that will make you feel fresh and clean all day long, because not only it's soapy, but it's also green. And yeah, I love that combo when it is hot and humid outside. I think it is perfect for someone who is sweaty or someone who turns very sweaty when it's hot and humid outside. And same goes with Fantasme. Both smell soapy, with Fantasme to be more of like a tea citrus, and I mean like lemon kind of citrus scent, whereas Summer Vibes is more of like a soapy mandarin, orange, neroli, petitgrain combo. So this is more of like green soapy with like delicate soft white florals in the background. Both smells fantastic. This will be perfect this upcoming summertime, and yeah, highly recommend them. Even though I prefer Summer Vibes on me, objectively this is an 8 out of 10. And Fantasme, since it has that beautiful scent bubble and it leaves a scent trail that wowed me, as mentioned, this is a 9 out of 10. Now let's proceed to 4 samples that I bought. First up is from Arabiyat Prestige, and I've seen a lot of people talking about it. This is Ramad Earthy. Actually, I tried this fragrance for the first time when I was in Dubai. I was at Arabiyat Prestige headquarters. I think they were just starting their production at that time, so it wasn't available yet. However, I sniffed it and I know that it was good, and I found it to be quite masculine leaning for my taste, considering that I love unisex scents. Okay, this is a strong and potent luxury honey scent. The note breakdown in Fragrantica is quite long. It has a lot of contrasting notes like cappuccino, apricot, honey, tea, patchouli, labdanum, vanilla, vetiver, and tonka bean. And actually, there's even more. I just don't want to read you all the notes as it is in Fragrantica because I prefer letting you guys know how it actually smells on me, because I think that is the purpose of every perfume reviews anyway. It's not about the notes listed, but it's about the notes that I am picking up. Also, we all know by now that Fragrantica is not 100% reliable anyway when it comes to note breakdown. I just mentioned the case of Fantasme, like all notes listed are wrong. Anyway, Ramad Earthy to me is a smell of fruits soaked in honey and tonka bean in a barrel of cedar wood. This smells absolutely beautiful, very complex, and very niche. So having said that, I don't imagine everyone liking this fragrance. I heard that it is a dupe of Amouage Sinbad. I haven't tried that fragrance yet as well, so I'm not gonna say anything about how close they are or whatever. But all I can tell you guys is that this is a honey forward scent. Aside from the thick honey, it is also quite fruity. Yes, I do get the pomegranate, mango that are listed, but the most prominent fruit to my nose is apricot. So imagine a lot of apricot, a little bit of pomegranate, mango, soaked, okay? Not drizzled or drenched, but soaked in honey and tonka bean in like a barrel of wood, let's say like a barrel of cedar, grounded by earthy patchouli. That's how Ramad Earthy smells like. In the opening, I was punched with that strong and potent powdery honey with the fruits, and then as it rises down, the fruits kind of like stays in the background, with the honey being like the center note of this fragrance, along with the patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean, and labdanum. It is woody, it is powdery, it is sweet, and it is beautiful. Now, this is something that you need to try first. I will say I do get the high quality of this perfume, and I would love to have a bottle. However, it is something that I don't need to own now because summer is just around the corner, and this is a perfume that I won't really suggest in the summertime because it can be quite suffocating, especially if you overspray. Now, I can only handle like 4 sprays of this because, yeah, as mentioned, it is too potent. That honey is too strong. I can imagine someone having like headache, especially when it's hot outside. Yeah, so I see this perfume to be more of like a fall and winter scent, you know, something that I will spray, for example, in my scarf in the winter time. Yeah, so I would love to get a bottle of this fragrance. However, not for now. Now, because of its complexity and niche quality and amazing performance, yes, I mentioned amazing because this is a beast mode scent. Truly not for the weak. I'm gonna rate this fragrance a 9 out of 10. If I can think of a perfume that it kind of reminds me of, I will say it has the same complexity of Fève Délicieuse by Dior. So yeah, having said that, it is quite similar as well to Frenetic Délicieuse by Paris Corner, which is duping Fève Délicieuse. If you love Frenetic Délicieuse by Paris Corner, you will love Ramad Earthy as well. I love this perfume, however, more for the fall and winter time. Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10, and I will definitely get a full bottle when it's colder. Also, I want to mention that yes, this is unisex, however, leaning more masculine. All right, the last 3 fragrances are from the brand Rayhaan. Now, I never own a bottle of Rayhaan. However, I was curious, so I bought samples. Starting off with Aquatica. I think it's called Aquatica because it's written just aquatic here. Anyway, Aquatica, as the name suggests, sounds like a blue summery fragrance. And yes, it is a summer fragrance. However, it's not a blue type of scent. This is more of like a lime and coconut type of scent that I'm gonna consider as more of a citrusy, freshy. Now, I was very intrigued about this perfume because it has coconut, milk in the note breakdown, and it is duping Creed's Virgin Island water. Now, I love that DNA because it has coconut and clean musk. Now, with Rayhaan Aquatica, I will say though that this is more limey to me. I never own Virgin Island water. However, I do have a decant of that, and I have compared them side by side, and yes, they are very similar. Now, I actually thought that this will be something that I will really love out of the three decants that I have today, but it's not. I mean, it's a nice fragrance. However, it's too limey for my liking. Yeah, and what I mean by lime is that yes, it has a very strong and prominent lime that doesn't go away. I think I would prefer if the coconut is more prominent than the lime, and also if I get some rum as well, because I'm not really getting rum in here. It is light and airy. There's something, yes, aquatic about it. And what I mean by aquatic, like watery. The type of coconut that I'm getting from here is more of like a coconut water and not really like creamy coconut milk. So it's like lime, coconut water, sweetened by sugar cane with a clean musk and tonka bean in the base. It is a freshie, that's for sure, and it is unisex as well. I like it, and I find it actually to be more similar to Malibu in the Bay by Simone Andreoli. Yeah, because that perfume as well is more about the lime. Now, I have compared Aquatica to Coconut Lagoon because they both have the same DNA, okay? Something citrusy, coconutty, sweet, musk. And I prefer Coconut Lagoon because it is sweeter and the lime is not that prominent as well. Also, I find Aquatica to be more masculine leaning as well, whereas yeah, Coconut Lagoon is more of like my vibe. It's more feminine, and to be honest, if you are happy with Coconut Lagoon, you don't need Aquatica by Rayhaan. Yeah, however, it is a nice scent though. Performance, I would say it lasted me around 4 to 6 hours, even pushing to 7. And yeah, I'm gonna rate this perfume as 7 out of 10. Right, next up is called Divine. Now, this sample is almost empty because I quite like this fragrance. I kept sampling it every night because I had this thought of actually needing a full bottle. Mm, Basically, this is a fruity, floral, feminine scent. It has a very prominent lychee and ginger to my nose, along with the vanilla, earthy patchouli, and chocolate. Now, at first spray, it was kind of like, because I found the earthy patchouli to be very prominent. And I tested it several times because I kind of liked it. It has peony, rose, and lychee. And I think it is the lychee here that I enjoy the most. However, as it dries down on me, the lychee kind of goes away because it is overpowered by that earthy patchouli. And yeah, the final dry down is more of like a patchouli scent, and it has that like plasticky fruit vibe in it. The peony gave this fragrance that aquatic floral nuance in the background, which is pretty. However, I just find the earthy patchouli here too strong, and there's something about it that smells very plasticky in the final dry down. Honestly, I like it a lot. In the beginning, this was something that I really considered buying a full bottle of. However, after using it 3 consecutive nights to decide if I really need the full bottle, yeah, I decided not to. I mean, like, it's nice, but it is missing the spark for me. You know, it's like you meet a guy, he's nice, like he treats you well, but you don't see or feel the spark. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's not giving me the buy me now kind of feeling. So yeah, that is my thought about it. I'm gonna rate this fragrance an 8 out of 10. I think it is very likable. It is something that a lot of women will enjoy. And as a matter of fact, I think this is the most likable in today's list. Performance is quite good as well, lasts around 4 to 7 hours. I just wish that peony, rose, and lychee are more prominent than the earthy patchouli in here. All right, and last but not the least is called Divine, also from Rayhaan. Now, this fragrance is quite viral. I think I see a lot of people talking about it in TikTok. And what can I say? I don't like this fragrance. So I'm getting here strawberry, coconut, praline, raspberry, condensed milk, and caramel. It is very sweet and fruity. On my skin, it smells very weird because I get the strawberry and raspberry in the opening along with something very sweet. And I guess it's like that condensed milk and caramel combo. Now, as it rises down, the sweetness of praline joined the sweetness of condensed milk and caramel as well. And to me, it's just too sweet. And I don't find this fragrance to be like very well blended. Yeah, I think that's the term that I'm gonna use. I find the condensed milk and caramel here to be too raw. You know, it's as if you literally combined condensed milk and liquid caramel together. Yeah, it's just a no because the condensed milk is too raw for me. And you know, I make desserts and it reminds me so much of the smell of condensed milk mixed with caramel when I make mousse. Yeah, just too raw and it doesn't smell like a perfume. Yeah, I think that's the term. It doesn't smell like perfumey to me. Having said that, I'm gonna give this fragrance a 6 or maybe 5 out of 10. I don't like it, whereas the rest are all likes, you know. This one is just a hard pass. So that is the video for today, guys. Those are 6 new Middle Eastern perfume releases that I've been testing out lately. There will be another 6 perfumes next week, so watch out for that because I have in total of 12 new Middle Eastern perfumes that I'm testing out lately. I just cut it into half because I don't want these videos to be that long. Now let me know if you've tried any of these perfumes and what are your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you are curious about other new Middle Eastern perfumes, I have compiled here all the Middle Eastern perfume releases that I've been reviewing since the beginning of the year. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!